Okay, time to break it down. We've been talking about it, we've been teasing it, but let's show you what we've got here on 3 and Out. It's time to reveal my 6A bracketology. Charles, you'll weigh in. I know you have a couple of differences from me, but
Slightly.
yeah, slightly. We at least kind of see eye to eye on most of this stuff. Now, people
We break
down
down
south,
numbers. We break down numbers.
Hobbs fans, beware. There's a lot behind this. We have decided Cleveland should be the #1 ranked team in the state tournament, in which they'll play La Cueva. West Mesa the 8-9 against Sandia. Rio Rancho 5, Gadsden 12, Volcano 4, Rio Grande 13, Carlsbad at the 3 playing Atrisco the 14, Valley 6, Cibola the 11, Albuquerque High School at 7 playing Las Cruces. Yes, Las Cruces at 10, Charles. And then, of course, you've got Hobbs at the 2 seed, who then would play against El Dorado.
I would love to keep the screen up here.
Let me go over why. Well, yeah, just keep that screen there for a second. Let me go over why Cleveland should be #1. Let me go over both sets of wins. You tell me what's better. Okay. Hobbs wins. They got Centennial, Las Cruces, Gadsden, Volcano Vista, El Dorado, Roswell, and Carlsbad twice. Very good, obviously. Okay. You look at Cleveland's wins. They've got Las Cruces, Valley twice, Atrisco Heritage, Cibola 3 times, Rio Rancho, Volcano Vista twice, and Espanola Valley, because district winners matter regardless if it's 5A, 4. That's why we have Centennial and Espanola Valley in there. Cleveland has the tougher wins and the tougher district. So I think that's why I'm going to put Cleveland. I don't think people from Hobbs agree. I don't think the NMAA actually will seed Cleveland over Hobbs, though.
I like Cleveland at 1 for all the reasons that you stated. Think about it. So you're playing in a district where every team minus Santa Fe is going to go to the state tournament. So every night was a battle. Even Santa Fe put up a fight. Hobbs, they had to beat up on Carlsbad, but they had a very down Clovis team this year, a very down Alamo Gordo team this year. So all we have to measure them by is that sample size, which is that resume that you went over. And Cleveland wins outweigh those Hobbs wins. I'm not trying to be northern biased at all. I can care less.
I had a lot of people tweet at me, Charles.
I'm going just by the numbers alone. Cleveland, to me, stands out a little bit more than Hobbs.
I had a lot of people tweet at me and say, well, how about all the blowouts? Hobbs been blowing people out by 20, 30 points.
Great.
What does that mean? So you can blow a team out doesn't mean you should be ranked #1. Not saying Hobbs shouldn't be ranked #1. In fact, if Hobbs is ranked #1, I'm not going to have a problem with it. Cleveland and Hobbs will be on opposite sides of the bracket. That's the most important thing. If you break down the schedule, you break down the wins, I think Cleveland slightly has the edge. You could argue it the other way. You definitely could argue it the other way and make a case for it. So I think it's pretty tight. If you throw that bracket back up real quick, and we'll see, look, a lot of people are probably going to look at Las Cruces as district champions at 10, Charles, and go, what?
Nope.
What does that mean?
That's
well,
where I have them.
let me read off Las Cruces' biggest wins. Piedro Vista, Espanola Valley. Espanola Valley is a good win.
Yeah.
La Cueva and Gadsden.
That's it.
That is it. That is it. They're at 19-7, 7-1 in district. That is it. And let me read off what people think West Mesa should not get a bye. Let me read off their wins real quick. At Sandia, Volcano Vista, at Carlsbad, Centennial, Atrisco, and Rio Grande twice. Way better. Hands down better than Las Cruces' resume. They're ahead of them in the rankings. They're ahead of them in the Max Preps rankings. They've got better wins by far against common opponents played. Right. So the only thing Las Cruces has going for them is their district championship. Yeah, and I just don't feel like you should put a team above a team just because they're district champions. Sandia, same thing. West Mesa beat Sandia head-to-head, and they have a better record, and they have better wins. So how do you put Sandia above West Mesa then? My opinion.
I don't. So your top 8, that's my top 8. I flip-flop a couple around or whatnot. But in this case, West Mesa has made the argument, and they've won the games, that they can get a home seed over Sandia. And I equate this to, if you said it best, if New Mexico State wins the WAC conference title, which they will outright, do you give them a higher seed than the 4th place finisher in the ACC conference? Probably not. It's never going to happen. You go with the strongest teams who performed the year out, beating the stronger opponents, going through a tougher road to get to this point of the season. And I believe that top 8 right there is right. I still have Valley at 4 or 5, depending on what happens with that Rio Rancho Volcano game. Because to me, Valley has an argument over Volcano right now.
They definitely might.
Their schedule, they can say, look, we've beaten the same teams, but at the end of the day, we end up winning our district. So now you can go with your district championship because both teams are so comparable. I think when they're comparable, you have to give the edge to the district champ when it's comparable. But if Rio Rancho wins it out, I think Rio Rancho can be that 4th seed.
I agree. So if Rio Rancho beats Volcano, because they tied in district, they can jump them, and I think they will because their resume is better. 2 wins against Hope Christian is great.
Yes.
Plus they have the win at Sandia, plus Cleveland, plus Cibola twice.
When they were at full strength.
Right. So, yeah, it all bodes well for Rio Rancho. They got to beat Volcano Vista, though. I think they jump them then to a 4. I think then you're right. I think Valley will then jump up to a 5 seed, Volcano Vista a 6 seed. But I think everything, in my opinion, should be locked down. 7, Albuquerque High. Their resume, Albuquerque High could be the 3 seed with their resume if they didn't have to be seeded behind Valley.
District stuff.
So,
well, I think they'll get a home game.
Right.
You know, at the end of the day, you have to.
I think it's not even close.
You got to reward resume at the end of the day also. So if Volcano slips up, I can see voters saying, hey, if you got to go Volcano or Albuquerque High, I think their resume is better. They can get that 6, but that's a lot of ifs. At the end of the day, get the home game. The teams that should be worried are the Sandias and Cruces because when you just break down numbers, and that's all we're doing, when you just break down numbers, there's not enough meat on their resumes for me to give them a home game. It's just not enough meat.
Very difficult to argue it, I think. Just district champion shouldn't
And I looked at it every way
Let's
possible.
move on real quick. Just want to touch on some bubble teams that are out there, Charles. At the end, you saw that we had La Cueva as a 16 seed, El Dorado as the 15 seed. I think that'll stay true. Now, there is Oñate and there is Mayfield. Mayfield losing to Oñate this weekend was big. Mayfield's got to win the district tournament, in my opinion. So Oñate is the team then.
Yeah, because they tie with Gadsden
Where are their wins? Their biggest win is Gadsden, and they just don't have a lot of argument for it. I will say this. I think Oñate makes it maybe to the district tournament championship game, and La Cueva goes out early in their district. I can see it. I don't know.
Okay, so and you have
they might have to win it.
Oh, you're right. Okay, but this is what's crazy right now. Highland is playing at a very high level right now, okay? When you go back through Highland's records...
Well, let's not say very high level.
They're
just
scoring a lot more points. The games are a lot closer.
They're playing better.
They're playing at a higher level. Well, if you're low, they're obviously playing a little bit higher than they were earlier. Anyway, I think they have a chance to upset one of these teams.
But that's all. That's the bubble doesn't go any further than that.
With that being said, Oñate, they get to that championship game, one of these teams are staying at home. I think La Cueva or El Dorado will be staying at home if Oñate can make a run.
It will be interesting.
It's going to be crazy.
A lot more to talk about. Max Preps 16 when we return. uSports Central.